Okay. Part of it is if you keep a bridge built, you can travel across it and across it all the time. There are some people, for whatever reason, when they're leaving, they cut ties and that's it. They sell their house to whatever. How do you maintain links in both places? Is one of the challenges that different people have. I think when people have family, including like their parents here, it could be easier because there's a reason to come. When all of the families in North America or in the UK, it's more difficult because you are now coming, but you have no literal ties. Uh, some of the folks returning home, it has taken so long that the country has changed irrevocably in the time, and they are returning to a place which no longer exists. And that can be shocking and so on. And of course, with all of the issues around the violence and some of the things that have happened to some returnees, that is a problem. However, there are ways in which, and as I said, it has to suit the individual situation. The linkages remain strong. And so whether it is with the school you attended, or it is with the family you have, or with the community you came from. So people have come up with all kinds of very innovative ideas of making contacts and linkages. So I remember a patient Fred had, and there was a question that you don't want to go like a dumpling. No, you don't want to go like a dumpling and come back as a dumpling. And of course, a dumpling is the heaviest, most unrefined, formation of food. But you would like to go as a dumpling and come back as a croissant, perhaps. So in other words, part of the struggle, or even a Johnny cake, part of the struggle is that you're able to prove that the sacrifices that you've made are worth it. Because if you come back worse off, then what would have been the point? No, I think that there is another way to look at it, which needs to engage people's minds, and that is keep the doors open here. Go to the new place and explore, and leave space, room to maneuver. Because I think a lot of the time there is no room for flexibility. People don't have any space to shift around. And that in itself creates a lot of difficulties. I have come to the understanding of just how difficult it is for people to migrate, what the psychic and financial costs are. So even where there are benefits, there are costs. And this failure to anticipate the cost and or the experience of the cost then becomes a difficulty. So the return migrant has to bring something home, whether it is social capital or financial capital or whatever, but you can't come back worse off. But also, if things are not working for you, you have to acknowledge it and get out of that other country. Because one of the problems is that some people didn't realize what they had in Jamaica. Some didn't have anything, but some didn't realize that they had what they had until now they went away and then they realized, looking back, you know what? I could have done this. I could have done that. So it's about having wiggle room. It's about having the space to explore. It's about having an open mind about what are possible solutions to your life. And not having to pretend to others that, oh, it was great. And, the streets were just paved with gold. One thing that seems to be happening is that there are people who are considering, what somebody told me in England, that there was something called Blaxit, that there are people who are thinking of migrating to where their grandparents came from. So the very thought that, you know what, I don't really want to raise my children, or I don't want to spend the last days of my life here, people are rethinking the return. And it works in many different kinds of ways. It may be to return to another country, but I don't want to stay in this place anymore. I recognize it's also dehumanizing to recognize that a person has rejected you on the basis of the color of your skin. And there are many people who didn't want to believe that, but it is so. So this is then a reassertion and a rethinking, and it's forcing people to think about this again, forcing people.